think everybody's heard of the Estaz Marabou. This fly is very similar. Has a nice fluffy marabou tail, but instead of using the Estaz on the shank of the hook, we're going to use a newer product called Palmer Chenille. Now the major difference is Estaz tends to be really buggy. The Palmer Chenille is slightly longer, in the medium size anyway, is slightly longer than the Estaz Grande. It's not as buggy, but it lays back in a nice smooth finish on the side. I think it makes it look a little bit more like a deceiver than just a big blob. But it's all a matter of choice. I'm sure both of these flies are very effective. We're going to start off with a VMC 7106BN size 1/0 hook. You could substitute a Gamakatsu SC15 in for this. I like this hook because it's just a little bit heavier. One of the things about both the Estaz Marabou and this Palmer Marabou is that they tend to suspend pretty well in the water. I want it to sink just a little bit stronger than the normal, and because of that I'm using a slightly heavier hook. The only thing that really is involved in this is a little bit of marabou for the tail, a little opal mirage flashabou. I'm going to use a single strand of that. And this Palmer Chenille, like I say, is a little bit different than the Estaz. It's belted. It's on one side rather than all the way around the string. That's the major difference between it. We're actually going to use the rotary in this particular fly. It just makes it a little bit simpler, especially when you're palmering and trying to maintain that stuff all toward the back. Like I say, I'm going to use 2 of these marabou feathers. I'm going to line them up. I want it to be pretty full in the back, and I'm going to say that this fly is going to end up being about 2.5 times the hook length. I'm going to tie it a little on the long side in the back, and I usually trim this stuff away, but in this particular instance I'm trying to build the size of the body of the fly while we're putting this marabou on. So I go ahead and tie the whole shooting match down, cut it back just behind the hook eye, throw that out, and we'll get that all wrapped down tight with thread. Get a little bit of the opal flashabou. I'm just going to use a single strand. Like I say, we're going to cut it in half and double it over. And put a couple of the strands on your side, a couple on my side. Fold it across the thread. V it and put some on your side, some on my side. Right down the side. Next is this Palmer Chenille. This stuff can get a little unwieldy at times. We want to try to keep all the belt in one direction. We're going to go toward the back. We're going to tie that in right there in the back. Get that tied down, bring in my rotary. And the trick here is to maintain that pointing in the back, toward the back. And I am laying each palmer very close to the palmer before it, trying to get a fairly full fly. Oop. Already we got twist in this. There we go. As you can see, it's quite a bit longer than the standard Estaz in length. And this is, like I say, about as easy a fly as you could tie. And I'm going to come all the way up nearly to the hook eye. I want it pretty full. One more wrap. No. One less wrap. Okay. A couple of thread wraps to lock that chenille in place. Cut the Palmer Chenille away without cutting my thread, and build a little bit of a thread head. Try to smooth it out a little bit. Now you could paint an eye, build up a head, pretty good sized head, and go ahead and paint an eye up there, but I'm not going to do that in this case. Do a quick whip finish. And that fly is done. Quick, easy, and very effective. Works on everything: snook, redfish, trout, maybe a little less so on the redfish since it's really not a bottom fly. You could add a weed guard, be simple enough, but I think fishing this would be really effective in the in the upper water columns. Anyway, that's all there is to it. Palmer Chenille, or Palmer Chenille Marabou. Simple fly. Thanks.